Thank you, Mark and Natasha. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see a packed audience. This is a smaller audience compared to last year, but nevertheless, we think it's going to be an exciting day for everyone. I'd like to welcome our special guests, Agos partners and sponsors, SGS sponsors, who have made today's event a possibility. We're all here today for our Philippines Plus Social Good Summit Manila 2030 Now. In September last year, we met for our Manila Social Good Summit at the Asian Institute of Management with a huge crowd that witnessed the launch of Project Agos, a platform that integrates technology, mapping, and social media, and bridges disaster preparedness and response from government, civil society, and citizens. Today, we come together again after a rainy September weekend, this time to envision what the world would be like 16 years from now. Just last week, I was handling a graduate course on media ethics, attended by practicing journalists from different countries in Asia. That included Bhutan, Nepal, India, Indonesia, Myanmar, and of course, the Philippines. Before coming over, they had been interacting in an online classroom that allowed learning at their own pace and time. Technology made learning about journalism across different time zones and diverse cultures possible. The week before, I was in China with a group of journalists and managers of online news sites from countries belonging to the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. We saw how diverse ASEAN media systems and structures were, how levels of media freedom varied across nations given different political systems, and even saw how China was struggling to deal with the pressures brought by its citizens on social media. While in China, we did not have access to Google, Facebook, and Twitter, which were virtual lifelines for my colleague from the Inquirer and myself. Our Chinese hosts told us we could use Baidu.com in lieu of Google, and WeChat in lieu of Twitter and Facebook. Of course, the platforms felt different, but were better than nothing. More than a week after the one-week program, ASEAN journalists continued to interact on WeChat. If you haven't tried it, you might want to check it out. We attach photos and video, posting URL links to stories, exchanging weather and entertainment updates, and asking about the new Chinese iPhone 6 clone. Truly, the world has become much smaller, as the Chinese officials we met from the Foreign Ministry knew first about the published stories in Manila via WeChat than the Chinese embassy official here who delayed in checking his email. Technology is making the transfer of information faster, which is both good and bad for journalists, but more good, I believe. For sure, technology is changing the way we do journalism. If before, journalists were the sole gatekeepers, today, guarding the gates has become a shared responsibility, with ordinary citizens who care as much about political, social, and economic issues, as well as political freedoms, and even the quality of journalism. Nowadays, even the crowd participates in fact-checking and proofreading via social media. We at Rappler get that a lot from you. In journalism class, we reminded ourselves about the purpose of journalism: to inform, educate, entertain, watch government, and yes, build communities. In the Philippine context, that translates to building bridges across our 7,100 islands that are separated by bodies of water that often inundate us during the typhoon season, such as this period. At Rappler, we ask ourselves whether journalists should limit themselves to reporting about these typhoons and other similar disasters that have become a part of our lives. We've seen too often how disjointed efforts have been among government agencies, civil society organizations, schools, aid groups, and ordinary citizens. Everyone doing their own thing in their own respective planets, orbiting in different directions. Inefficiencies, as we know, are a waste of precious limited resources. Why couldn't we harness the best practices and the best knowledge and use media to spread the word about them? Why shouldn't we communicate better with each other, using the best that technology could offer? Relations between the media, government, private sector, and civil society have been adversarial many times. But in disaster situations, could we still afford that? When lives and livelihood are at stake? In the age of social media, it doesn't make sense to not speak to one another, partner, and collaborate. Doing so, after all, could eliminate, if not minimize, duplicated efforts. In the interest of preserving more lives, we would say use us, use the media as a platform to educate and share valuable information about disasters. Use the media too as a means to collaborate with other groups that have a stake in preventing lost lives and livelihood. Late last night, we published a story about Mayon volcano being put on alert level 3, indicating possible eruption within weeks. An accompanying directive is forced evacuation within the 6-kilometer permanent danger zone radius. Reacting to the story, one commenter quickly pleaded, "Please, not yet. We haven't even fully recovered from Typhoon Yolanda." How true, and I am pretty sure that within minutes, that plea was read worldwide. In an era of seemingly unending disasters, how do we envision 2030? With collaboration and partnerships, there is no reason why disasters could not be prevented, or at the very least, mitigated. November this year will mark the first anniversary of Super Typhoon Haiyan, hitting Tacloban and other parts of the Visayas. The lessons have been painful, and the reminders about the fatal effects of non-preparedness difficult to forget. It will be up to us to use and maximize the tools we already have at our fingertips. The possibility is and exciting. The rest of the day will hopefully show us how and why. Our morning sessions will tackle journalism and technology, and climate change and disasters by mid-morning. Then we shift to the future and look at 2030 by the afternoon, before taking a final look at technology and planning for disasters. So let's all watch and listen. Thank you very much, and good morning.
Thank you so much for that, Shai. Are you guys ready to get this started?